Hello everyone, welcome back to the page. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight, whenever you happen to be seeing this, I would like to offer your weekly elemental rune reading for the week of August 17th through the 23rd. These are general readings, so take what works for you, leave the rest for someone else. And if you're interested as to why I read for the elements versus the zodiac, there's a link in the description to a video I made about that. With that, we'll get started here. There's also a bunch of other goodies down there. If you're interested, you can go check those out. We'll start off with our fire family, and fire covers the zodiac signs of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So if you were Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or have fire high up in your chart, this one is for you. We're starting you off with the Rado rune, which is the rune of a long journey on horseback. Color is bright red. Tarot association is the Hierophant, and astrology is Sagittarius, which is actually part of fire. Indicates a physical journey, especially a pleasant ones or journeys that bring positive development. And with this, it also could indicate a spiritual journey like vision work or path working, dreams, things like that. So fire, you're starting off with there's movement going on here, and as a Hierophant, or in some cases the High Priest, you are stepping into this energy of a teacher, of someone who is leading something. You're the one who has been there, done that, so you're kind of the one leading the charge this week, and that can actually be kind of fun for you because you get to kind of flex your knowledge a little bit and show the energy I keep getting is show off what you actually know. And they're saying that this could work out really well for you because excuse me, the people above you that are watching are really paying attention to how you will act with this situation. So it's one of those things where you already know that you know the stuff, whatever that may be, and this is a good week for you to get to play with that a little bit. So your second rune is the Iowaz rune, which is the rune of the horse. Color is white. Tarot association is the Lovers, and astrology is Gemini, bringing in a little air here. Travel and change, new jobs, new homes, spiritual journeys, or movements. Fire, I'm getting this very strong feeling this week that there's going to be some spiritual shifting going on for you, whether it's a conscious thing like you're changing from one type of study to another, or if it's something along the lines of your guides are bringing in a new lesson or something that's time to work through, like some shadow work. But it's all being done in the process of bringing things into light, bringing things into motion. There's this very positive energy that's coming up with this. It's not a negative feeling that's coming up. It's more of, now's your time to shine. Now's your time to actually do the things that you've been kind of working on, working towards. This movement energy is saying the shifting is making space for the next level, for your the next awesome version of you is what I keep hearing. So there's definitely some movement going on here, and it could be upward movement, it could be promotion, something within work, it could be relationship where you guys are moving into a more appropriate living situation where you can actually have the dogs or the cats or the kids or whatever it is that you're wanting to work towards. Excuse me. And that's what the energy is coming up here, is you guys are in this really good state of shifting and growing. And you also have that Lovers card, which is a reconnection of relationships, a rebuilding of, maybe not rebuilding, fortifying the relationships that you have. So there's a little bit of the personal going on, but a lot of this is focusing on what's going on in your work or business life, and there's a lot of positive movement going on right there. So let's hop over to our Earth family. Earth covers Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, and our Earth family is starting off with Othila, which is the rune of ancestral property. Color is deep yellow. Tarot association is the moon, and astrology is the full moon. So Earth, you're working with water very heavily this first part. It's a possession, an inheritance, real property, and inherited abilities or traits. So there's something that That's interesting. There's something of yours that you inherited from a family member. I keep seeing a blanket or something that a grandparent had made, specifically a grandma, could be a great aunt, something along those lines. There's something about that that is going to come to importance, is what I keep seeing this week, and I'm not sure what that means. But there's something that you have inherited is actually going to be brought to memory. It's going to be brought up in a conversation. Somehow it's going to play a role, and that's weird. I don't usually work with spirits that have passed over, but it's this energy that's coming forward that it's time to remember the person who gave it to you. It's time to remember this person who cared enough to make this thing for you by their hands. They're being very adamant that this is something that is handmade. So if you don't have anything that's handmade that was inherited down to you, this doesn't apply. But those who do, there's someone's family is coming up saying it's time to remember. There you go. But you're really getting into this inheritance aspect of things. But there's something about that that's going to trigger another memory, and that's what they're wanting to bring forward. So, yeah. Sorry, I was just making sure there was nothing else coming up. We also have the Hagalaz rune, which is the rune of hail, and it is color of light blue. Blue. Terra association is the world, and astrology is Aquarius. Aquarius is your opposite energy because it's air, so this could be a challenge for you this week. It's unexpected setbacks or problems, attempting to let things flow, disruptive natural events. Well, we are in the summertime, so there's fire season going on somewhere. But I'm also getting with this. This has to do with this Othello rune. So whatever's coming up, whatever memory that is being brought to the front is actually going to trigger a little bit of a disruptive aspect in your life. And it's not they're not saying it's negative, it's something that needs to be cleared up. So there may have been some confusion, there may have been some discussion, something may not have lined up the way it should have, and this is a time for it to be cleared. And outside of that inherited physical property, I'm getting this impression that this is a time for learning to work within the boundaries that you set up. So Earth, there could be something that you have put into place where this is how I'm going to do it, and there's people pushing against you right now. Work, personal life, doesn't really matter. This is not the time to let things flow through your boundaries. Your boundaries are there for a reason. Keep them there. And and that's where this disruption is coming in for our Earth family. It's not a time for you to waffle. This is a time for you to stand your ground and be firm in, this is what I said and this is what I meant. And that's the energy that's coming up this week. So Earth, you have a very mixed bag going on right here, because you have this situation that needs to be cleared up with something that was inherited, something handmade. But you also have this energy of someone's pushing you to try to get you to bend to their will, and the vibe that I'm getting right now is really stand your ground on this one. And it doesn't mean you have to be rude. Be like, just no, that's enough. No, we're not having this discussion today. They're saying be simple. It doesn't have to be harsh, but definitely stand up for yourself when it comes to people pushing at you this week. So let's hop over to air and see if we can clear the air. Air covers the zodiac signs of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And air, you are starting off with, I think this is one of the fate runes. This is one of the fate runes. It is Perth, the rune of fate. Color is black. Tarot association is the Wheel of Fortune, and astrology is Saturn. So we got the stern father figure coming in here. Mystery, chance, unexpected material gain, surprises, something hidden coming to light. So, air, this is a call for stepping out of the shadows, stepping out of the illusion. In the tarot, you're symbolized by the swords. You are here to cut away the blockages, the cords that are holding people back, holding yourself back as well. The Wheel of Fortune is saying this is a cyclical thing, and so where you're at and what you're coming into right now, this is something that you kind of have already been through once, but you're not going in just a flat circle. You're going in a spiral. So yes, you're going to have this again, but it's because you're processing out a different layer of the situation. So if things seem familiar, like, didn't I just do this? There's a reason for it, because yeah, you did it at a lower level, and now it's time to work out the rest of it. And they're saying they're saying really clearly this is the rest of it. It's not something you're going to have to repeat, because you got the majority of the lesson the first time. This is kind of like that stuff that just you have to scrape off with the edge of a spoon when you're doing dishes. That's kind of what's coming up. So it's just get it out of there, because what's coming after is better. Saturn's coming in to basically say, you don't get to skip this lesson. This is a lesson that's going to happen. So that's that stern father figure of Saturn. And it's not harsh. The sternness from Saturn comes across as hostile or caustic, or I can't believe that is what's happening. But it's a concerned parent is what the energy really is. It's because Saturn knows, and you need to learn. And that's the vibe that's coming forward. So our second rune here is the Isa rune, which is the rune of ice. Color is black. Tarot association is the hermit, and astrology is the moon. It's some kind of obstacle, coldness between people, a time to observe, keeping silent, refrain from comment. When you're going through these cleansing periods where you're having to cut away things and clean things up, this is a time to pull away. This is not a time to be in the middle of a bunch of chaos and a bunch of social situations. Take the time to step back and allow yourself the gift of healing. Allow yourself the gift of peace, of quietness. It's not a matter of, oh, well, I have to cut everybody off and I have to shut at the doors. No, it's saying, doing this gently, just being like, you know what? I think this week I'm just going to skip. Can we postpone that till next week? I've got something else going on. Those are a lot of times the simplest, easiest ways to work around it, because when you start to work through the rest of some of these past lessons, it's going to trigger some of those unpleasant emotions. They're not going to be as intense. That's one thing I'm getting very distinctly. The emotions that are going to come forward are things that are the weaker aspect of what you've already been through. So it's more like it's a shadow batting at you. Come on, feel this. And you're like, I feel it, go away, because it's not dominant anymore. And that's where you're just reminding yourself that's what you're letting go of. That's what you're clearing out. And that's why you're making the space, is so that that can go away and you can bring in the prosperity and abundance. Because that's really what this is saying, is this week is a good week for pausing, reflecting, checking in on how things are going in this, physical form you're carrying around, and then going forward in grace and beauty. So let's take a peek at our water family. Water covers the zodiac signs of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. All of our fishies out there. So we are going to start you off with the Algae's rune, which is the rune of protection. Color is gold. Tarot association is the moon. And astrology is Cancer. So this is tapping into your energy, water. It is protection from danger, resisting temptations. New beginnings are possible. Water, what is it that you've been looking towards? What is something that you have been trying to decide whether you want to do? What is coming forward when I say new beginnings? What's the first thought? That is the focus. With that, you're being brought into a state of protection from a lot of negativity, which is the outside world telling you your dreams are nonsense. But you're able to step into those dreams now because you can see them more clearly. You also have this resisting temptation. Water, especially when you get into the Piscean era, you're really looking at this energy of escapism, where I don't want to deal with the everyday life, so I'm going to do this other thing. That's a temptation to really blind you from the goals that you're heading towards. So this is a good week to check in with yourself, check in with your intuition, see what's going on behind the scenes, and then get focused on the goals, the dreams, the things that you've been wanting to achieve. Work towards them this week. And even if it's only putting energy towards them in thoughts, planning, figuring it out, that's positive energy in the right direction. So that's where you're headed this week, water. Your second rune is the Uraz rune, which is one of the Elder Futhark. Color is dark green. Tarot association is the High Priestess. Astrology is Taurus. So this is tapping into that grounding energy, and also pay attention to your intuition and the voice of the divine feminine. Creative power, wisdom, and knowledge, good fortune, opportunities, and water. You have some amorous energy coming up this week. So however this plays out for you as you're going through this week, there's something new that's happening. First thing that comes to mind is usually the most appropriate one. There's some energy that's coming in to be a distraction. That's generally that escapism energy that water wants to do once in a while. But you have so many things setting up for success. There's a lot of foundational energy. That's that Taurus energy that's coming in. And you also have the voice of the goddess with the high priestess. So you're really listening to the inner world at this point. You're trying to understand what's going on. How do I make this happen? And the key aspect here is you're not going to force anything. That's just not what's going to happen, water. You're going to set yourself up for success, and then over time, you're going to build the momentum of the ocean. You're going to tap into the heart of the sea. And when that starts to move, things get out of your way. You don't have to force it. It just happens. And that's the energy that's coming up for you this week, water, is really tap into your natural skills, your natural talents. Water can be very aggressive. Water can be very simple, but nothing stands in the way of water. That's just, it's really a true statement, because when water decides to get to moving, it'll take out a mountain. No questions asked. It'll take down buildings. Water is powerful when it decides to move. This week, you're setting yourself up to get that momentum building, because once things start to roll, fate kicks in and will take it for you, so then you can actually enjoy the ride. And that's what they're wanting you to do, is get ready to enjoy the ride, but you have to put the subtle work in first. So, with that, as you all go through this week, remember, your week and your life are yours to deal with as you choose. This is a beautiful opportunity for some new beginnings. There's a lot of new energies coming forward. The universe itself has been a little bit interesting here lately. The intensity from some of these full moons, and Mercury finally settling down, and all the rest of the planets having their arguments and such. There's been a lot of things happening. The most important one is to stay grounded to Gaia, stay grounded with your friends, your family, and your loved one, and don't forget to stay grounded within your spiritual community as well. With that, I will let you guys go. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video.